Good morning and welcome to Round the Globe on Aneke TV. First, let's look at stories making the headlines. Hamas hands over hostage bodies amid rising tensions. President Trump says workaround to pay federal officers amid a shutdown. France suspends President Macron's pension reform. U.S. military kills 6 suspected smugglers. Federal government drops mathematics requirement for arts and humanities admissions into tertiary institutions. House of Representatives move to launch a vocational institute in Southeast. I am Aneke. Now the news in details. The bodies of 3 hostages handed over by Hamas overnight have been named as Tamia Nimrodi, Ethan Levy, and Uriel Baruch by the Hostages and Missing Families Forum. A 4th body transferred to Israel has yet to be named. This comes after Israel warned it would restrict aid into Gaza and delay the reopening of Rafah crossing until Hamas returned the bodies of all 28 deceased hostages. The slow return of the dead hostages has provoked anger in Israel, and Palestinians are increasingly worried that the delay could bring uncertainty to the future of the ceasefire. The remains of 45 deceased Palestinians who had been held in Israel were returned to Gaza last night, according to the Red Cross. In Gaza, the UN aid agency says the challenges to bring in supplies and begin reconstruction are immense. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that if Hamas doesn't disarm, he will disarm them. On the other hand, the Trump administration is scrambling to keep federal law enforcement officers on the payroll. As the government shutdown enters its 3rd week considered essential, officers from the FBI, DEA, Border Control, and ICE must still report to work even without guaranteed pay. Officials are exploring alternative funding, including using tariffs for the WIC food program and relocating defense R&D funds to pay the military. Homeland Security says it has found an innovative way to pay the Coast Guard, though details remain scarce. So far, about 750,000 federal employees have been furloughed, and 4,000 layoffs have already hit 7 agencies. Democrats plan to introduce a bill to shield like WIC from shutdown disruptions, but a Senate vote Tuesday faces long odds. In other news, French Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu announced on Tuesday that Macron's controversial 2023 pension reform will be suspended until after the 2027 election. The move sacrifices one of Macron's key economic legacies to stabilize a government threatened by leftist and far-right opposition. Left-wing parties welcomed the decision, signaling they will not join no-confidence votes against Lecornu, allowing them to push a slimmed-down 2026 budget. The suspension will cost 400 million euros in 2026 and 1.8 billion euros in 2027, requiring offsetting savings measures to avoid worsening the deficit. France, grappling with its worst political turmoil in decades, has seen repeated minority government struggle to pass deficit-cutting budgets. Stocks rose on the news while economists urge compromise to prevent further economic instability. In a statement, the U.S. military has killed 6 men aboard a boat in international waters near Venezuela. President Trump announced on social media, claiming the vessel was smuggling drugs for a group labeled terrorists. Aerial footage showed the boat struck by a missile and exploding. This marks the 5th such strike since September 2, bringing the death toll to 27. Legal experts have questioned the strikes, warning that targeting suspected drug smugglers without imminent threats may violate international law. The administration has urged the actions are consistent with the laws of war, but has not released a detailed legal justification. Critics note Congress has never authorized military attacks on drug cartels, making the designation of criminal groups as terrorists legally contentious. Trump framed the strike as an exercise of his authority as commander-in-chief, saying he ordered Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to authorize the operation. The move raises fresh questions about the legality and scope of U.S. military actions in peacetime abroad. This news broadcast is coming to you live from Aneke TV. Remember, you can follow us on all social media feeds on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok right here on Aneke TV. Now a quick reminder of major developments in the news. Hamas hands over hostage bodies amid rising tensions. President Trump seeks workaround to pay federal officers amid shutdown. France suspends President Macron's pension reform. U.S. military kills 6 suspected smugglers. Coming up shortly, federal government drops mathematics requirement for arts and humanities admissions into tertiary institutions. House of Reps move to launch vocational institutes in the Southeast. Please stay with us.
Hello, I'm Bebra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
You're still watching Round the Globe on Aneke TV. Now we'll bring you stories from Nigeria. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, has called on Nigerians to unite false narratives, contrived misinformation and foreign interest to undermine the nation's unity. Alhaji Idris made the call when a delegation from the National Open University of Nigeria, NOUN, led by its Vice-Chancellor, Professor Olufemi Peters, visited him. This is contained in a statement issued by the minister's personal assistant on media, Malam Rabiu Ibrahim, in Abuja. The minister emphasized the importance of collective responsibility in addressing the spread of fake news and misinformation, noting that false narratives have far-reaching consequences on national unity, peace, and nation's image. He praised the NOUN for what he described as its excellence in promoting open distance learning and commitment to hosting the International Media and Information Literacy Institute. Also, the federal government has approved the sweeping reforms to tertiary education entry requirements, making admission more flexible and inclusive. Under the new guidelines, art students will no longer need mathematics to gain university entry, while science and social science courses retain the requirement. Education Minister Dr. Tunji Alausa said the move aims to close the gap between the over 2 million UTME candidates and the 700,000 who secure admission annually, ensuring deserving youths aren't denied education by outdated rules. The reforms cover universities, polytechnics, colleges of education and innovation, enterprise academics, with the National Innovation Diploma replaced by a standard national diploma. The changes are expected to create space for an additional 250,000 to 300,000 students each year. Dr. Alausa stressed that the initiative aligns with President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, promoting inclusivity, youth empowerment, and national development through education. In recent development, the House of Representatives has introduced a bill to establish the Southeast Institute for Vocational and Entrepreneurial Studies in Umuobom, Imo State. Sponsored by Honorable Ikenga Imo Ugochinyere, the institute aims to equip young Nigerians with technical, entrepreneurial, and innovative skills for meaningful employment. Ugochinyere said the initiative is a step toward a Nigeria where skills, creativity, and innovation become the engine of prosperity, and highlighted the global success of vocational education models in transforming economies. The public hearing held by the House Committee on Alternative Education gathered input from stakeholders before the bill proceeds to its third reading. The lawmakers stressed that locating the institute in Imo sends a strong message of federal commitment to balanced, inclusive development. The proposed institute is envisioned as a factory of ideas, a hub of creativity, and a launchpad for future business leaders, designed to rebuild the Southeast socio-economic foundation and provide opportunities for a new generation. Turning to agriculture, the federal government has launched the Nigerian Farmers Soil Health Scheme, NFSHS, under President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, aiming to boost crop yields, reduce fertilizer waste, and ensure sustainable food security. Minister of State for Agriculture, Senator Aliyu Sabi, said the initiative provides personalized soil health cards and scientific fertilizer recommendations to help farmers optimize productivity and income while caring for the land. The scheme will establish 774 soil testing laboratories across Nigeria and develop a digital platform, the Nigeria Soil Information System, to consolidate soil data for evidence-based farming decisions. The program is expected to double yields for staple crops, but input costs, promote climate-smart agriculture, and generate jobs for rural youth and women. Sabi described it as a game-changer that empowers farmers with the tools and knowledge to thrive, not just to survive. Observers note a new terrorist group, Wulo, linked to Boko Haram, has reportedly surfaced in north-central Nigeria, raising security concerns. Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State warned that the group is establishing a presence in parts of Kwara State and urged vigilance to prevent its spread. Governor Sule also called for a full investigation into a recent violent clash in Ndama village, Kokona local government area, which left 7 dead, and directed security agencies to tackle rising abductions in Lafia and Karu. The governor emphasized that provocative measures are essential to prevent extremist infiltration and safeguard the state from growing insecurity threats. In the world of business, President Bola Tinubu has announced a historic 4.5 trillion naira increase in Nigeria's 2025 budget, with 1 trillion naira dedicated to the solid minerals and mining sector, the largest single investment in the country's mining history. The funds will support geological surveys, infrastructure development, and industrialization, aiming to create jobs, boost foreign exchange earnings, and reduce reliance on oil. Speaking at the 10th Nigerian Mining Week in Abuja, Tinubu said the move aligns with his renewed hope agenda, focusing on diversification, value addition, and inclusive prosperity. He highlighted past sectoral gains, noting revenue surged from 6 billion naira in 2023 to over 38 billion naira in 2024 under his reforms. The government also unveiled the Nigeria Solid Minerals Company to drive local processing and industrial partnerships. Senate and ministerial officials pledged support, with the Ministry of Solid Minerals reporting the sector now contributes 4.6% to GDP. And moving to the world of sports. Morocco set a new national team record with 16 consecutive victories, finishing their World Cup qualifying campaign with 1-0 home win over Congo on Tuesday. Yusuf En-Yesri scored the lone goal in the 63rd minute, securing Morocco's perfect 8-win record in Group E, the only African team to remain unbeaten in the preliminaries. The 19th month winning streak, which includes World Cup and Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers as well as friendlies, saw Morocco score 50 goals and concede just 4, surpassing Spain's 15-game record set between 2008 and 2009. Morocco now prepares to host the Africa Cup of Nations finals, opening against Comoros on December 21. Still in sports, Victor Osimhen was the star last night, scoring a sensational hat-trick as Nigeria Super Eagles crushed Benin Republic 4-0 in Uyo. Frank Aneke added a late fourth, sealing a dominant victory and earning Nigeria a crucial spot in next month's African playoffs. South Africa topped the group to secure automatic qualification for the 2026 World Cup, while Nigeria must take the longer route via the playoffs. Their campaign has been turbulent, with frequent coaching changes and inconsistent results when Osimhen was sidelined by injury. The win highlighted Nigeria's attacking firepower, with Osimhen's clinical finishing proving decisive. Samuel Chukwueze and Moses Simon were key providers, setting up 2 of his 3 goals, including a spectacular diving header. In the world of entertainment, the United Kingdom has chosen My Father's Shadow, a Nigerian story directed by Akinola Davis Jr. as its official entry for the Best International Feature category at the 98th Academy Awards, the first time a Nigerian story has earned that honor. Produced by Fatherland Productions in collaboration with Mubi and Element Pictures, the film was shot largely in Lagos and Ibadan. It premiered at the Cannes Film Festival on Certain Regard section, where it earned Davis Jr. a special jury mention. Set during Nigeria's 1993 election crisis, the Yoruba, Pidgin and English language drama follows 2 young boys journeying with their estranged father amid political turmoil. The cast includes Shope Dirisu of Gangs of London and newcomers Godwin and Chibike Marvelous Egbo. Released in Nigerian cinemas on September 19, the film will continue showing until October 16, ahead of its UK and US release on February 6, 2026. The Oscars shortlist will be announced on December 16, with final nominations on January 22, 2026. And that's all on Round the Globe, but to end Round the Globe here at the main point. Hamas has handed over more hostage bodies to Israel amid rising tensions. The federal government has announced that mathematics will no longer be a compulsory subject for students seeking admission into tertiary institutions to study arts and humanities-related courses. We also told you that the House of Representatives has commenced moves to boost technical and entrepreneurial skills in the Southeast. And that's the news. For breaking news and eyewitness report, please call 0703-043-7110, or you can send a message across all our social media platforms on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. I am Aneke. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, I'm Bebra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo if you're on 1
My name is Obina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Beauty is not a mirror's gift. It lives deeper in how we listen, how we love, how we live. It's the kindness that lingers and the courage that doesn't quit. The world may sell perfection, but real beauty is flawed, fierce, and free. It's in stretch marks and smile lines, in stories and scars. When you see someone who glows, it's not their skin, it's their soul breaking through. That's beauty. Raw, radiant, and real.
Enugu is one of the 36 states of Nigerian Federation. It is located on a hilltop in the southern part of the country. It has a rich history and robust cultural heritage that boasts its uniqueness. Igbo is a widely spoken language in Enugu State. Enugu is popularly called the Coal City State because of its large deposits of coal and other mineral resources. Enugu has 17 local government area councils. The history of Enugu dates back to the early 20th century when the British discovered coal in the Udi Hills in 1909, which led to the development of Enugu City in 1912 as a thriving mining town. Enugu empowered the Nigeria railway system and electric plants greatly during the colonial era. On the 27th of August 1991, Enugu was carved out from Anambra to become a state. As the home of the Igbo people, Enugu's culture reflected in its music, art, and traditions. Enugu is situated in the eastern part of Nigeria, sharing borders with Benue at the north, Ebonyi at the east, Abia and Imo at the south, and Anambra and Kogi at the west, covering approximately 7,161 square kilometers. Enugu is characterized by undulating hills, forests, rivers, and fertile soil, making it suitable for farming. The state experiences significant rainfall with an average annual precipitation of around 2,100 millimeters and temperatures averaging 28 degrees Celsius. The people of Enugu State are predominantly Igbo, one of the largest ethnic groups in Nigeria. The Igbo language is a fundamental part of their culture and identity, with many dialects spoken across the state. Language plays a vital role in shaping the culture and identity of the Igbo people. Enugu is very rich in culture and traditional practices, one of which is the New Yam Festival, Iriji, which is a traditional celebration that marks the beginning of the harvest season. Another significant cultural event is the Masquerade Festival, Mmong, a colorful display of traditional dances, songs, and drumming. During this festival, different communities come together to showcase their masquerades. Enugu State is also known for its traditional arts including wood carving, pottery, weaving, and music. Enugu's cultural traditions help promote community cohesion, social bonding, and cultural identity. In the past, Enugu's economy was largely driven by coal mining. During the colonial era, Enugu was one of Nigeria's major industrial and economic centers. Today, Enugu's economy has become more diversified with some key sectors which includes agriculture, trade and markets, education and government, tourist centers. Enugu State is an important part of Nigeria, known for its cultural richness, peaceful environment, rich history and tourist attractions. From its coal mining history to its current role as an educational and cultural hub, Enugu continues to grow and contribute greatly to the development of Nigeria.
Peace is not passive. It is built. It grows through tolerance, justice, and mutual respect. Without peace, development is a dream. We all play a role, from homes to nations, choosing peace in our actions and words can transform the world. Be a peacemaker.
Over the years, parents and guardians have battled with the rising cost of school materials, and at the center of this challenge are non-transferable textbooks, popularly known as workbooks. These books are designed in such a way that once a child has written in them, they cannot be passed on to siblings or other students. At first, the idea seemed innovative, but over time, some school management began making these books compulsory. Pupils and students without them often found themselves unable to complete certain assignments, creating a sharp departure from the long-standing practice of simply using notebooks. While convenient for teachers, this academic style came at a cost literally. Families were forced to purchase new copies every academic year, thereby increasing the economic hardship for the family. Recently, the governments of Imo, Benue, Anambra, and Ondo states moved to address this burden by banning the use of non-transferable textbooks in their schools. The decision has sparked conversations across communities. When Aneke TV spoke with parents and guardians, reactions were mixed. Many expressed relief, welcoming the chance to save money and return to a culture of reusing books. Others, particularly in states yet to adopt the policy, are watching closely, hoping similar changes will soon reach their children's classrooms.
I believe the government meant well for schools by making that policy of non-transferable textbooks to schools. Though it has not gotten down to Enugu State, but I believe in due time our government will review its own as well. It's not bad for me to say that. It's not bad because the curriculum review, I know it comes, I think, 3 years, every 3 or 4 years. If a textbook, if a child or children in a particular family uses the textbook, at the time there will be another curriculum review. If he prompts to change that textbook, we will follow suit. It's a welcome development, and I believe the government meant well.
It's quite discouraging and it's quite disturbing that somebody, your sibling, the book, for instance, the book somebody used, then that the person's sibling, the child's sibling, that is coming to the class the next academic session will not use that book. It's not healthy. It's not the ideal thing. It's exploitative, and wherever such thing is tenable, they should think twice and change it because it's not good.
It's a beautiful and welcome development. In this situation, I think the government meant well for both parents, learners, and schools. So with this, I think that the parents will no longer complain of paying for textbooks, each term pay for textbook and all that. And also the teachers will have a separate book or a separate exercise book for homework and other things. So the writing in the textbook, most times when you give the learners textbooks to do their homework, before the term will run out, in fact, it will not even last for a whole section.
As schools reopen, the ban is already making a difference. Parents in the affected states breathe easier, while those elsewhere continue to push for reform. For many, the bigger hope is not just to cut costs, but to restore an educational tradition where books are handed down, knowledge is shared, and no child is left behind because of financial barriers. Chidimi Kemede, Aneke TV.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, 042. And good morning to everyone out there watching. You're tuned into Sunrise on Aneke TV. Your voice every morning. I am Deborah Wakoma, coming to you live from our studio here in Vibrant Enugu.
And good morning to our global audience. I'm Uche Osai. Wherever you are, at home, in your office, or in traffic, thank you for letting us into your space today. And as always, we're happy to refresh, inform, and motivate you.
Yes, and it's Wednesday, October 15, 2025. So welcome to another day of refreshing sunrise. And this morning we have everything you need, from the latest news to the weather report and that special sunrise vibe to kickstart your day.
So, relax, sip your tea or coffee, enjoy the cruise, because the sunrise is here.
Yes, and here on Sunrise this morning, we'll be kicking things off with our quote of the day, and also with that spark of wisdom that would inspire us and make us well-driven and stay focused.
Right after that, we'll bring to you today's stories from our newspaper headlines. All the key updates you need to remain informed will be served hot and tasty.
Yes, and of course, we've also got that weather report covering cities across the southeast.
And later, I'll take you through today's celebration or observance to lift your spirits.
Yeah. So we'll be starting today with our quote of the day coming from Steve Jobs. And in his quote, he says, "Be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected." I repeat, he says, "Be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected." Now, this quote emphasizes the importance of setting and upholding high standards in everything you do, even when others may not. Now, this quote means a yardstick is a tool used to measure something. So when Steve Jobs says, "Be a yardstick of quality," he means that you should be the measure of example of excellence that others look up to in any environment, whether it be your workplace, school, or community. So not everyone operates at a high level of expectation, and some people may be comfortable with mediocrity or good enough. The job challenges us to rise above that, to create, perform, and behave in ways that define what true quality looks like, even if it makes others uncomfortable or challenges the norm. And we should also be a yardstick of excellence, even at work. So if you're at work, don't just do your job. Do it with precision, do it with creativity, do it with maturity and pride. And also, if you're in school, you should aim for deep understanding, not just passing grades. And when it comes to relationship, you should also maintain integrity and kindness, even if others don't. And when you are a yardstick, you become the benchmark of quality that influences others to improve or raising the overall standard of your environment. Mr. Uche, I want to know if your take on this quote that says, "Be a yardstick of quality," and some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected.
All right. Steve Jobs, being the man he is, being the creative inventor that he is, in this quote, saying "be a yardstick of quality" is speaking to standard. And he is talking to being known for something, being known to maintain a high standard in everything that you are involved in. Is in your career, be that person that is known to give quality output. Be recognized by the standard, the quality of whatever you are involved in. If you are working in an office, part of it is diligence, being able to be punctual, being able to be attentive to detail, and be flawless in whatever output you give. And in this instance, Steve Jobs is pointing out that not everybody is used to being in an environment where standard, where excellence is required. Then you shouldn't be deterred when you find yourself being a lone wolf in such an environment. You should be able to stand, conquer the terrain, and exude the courage to endorse and establish that yardstick of quality. So, moving forward, even if you're a student, it's quite applicable that when you go for excellence, you will be known for quality, and that in overall will affect the general output. You will see that you will excel in your academics, and your lecturers, your peers will know you for being able to exceed that benchmark of that benchmark where everybody is comfortable to join the echelon of people who give their best. So, speaking to excellence in this regard, Debbie, it has to do with everything that we do. Talk of relationship. What are you known for in your relationship? Are you that person that your partner will call any time of the day and you will respond amicably? You understand? There are people, I've seen people very toxic, very poor in communication and everything, right? And you see that it affects the general output. It affects the flow. And I begin to wonder, Debbie, I don't know how such people, how they cope in such relationship. And I don't know, again, beyond relationship, talk about work environment, talk about everything we do. When somebody is shabby, I don't know how to cope about that and how we condone such thing. Because yes, Steve Jobs is right to let us know that there's an environment where you don't find everybody being excellent. So when you see that other people's inefficiency, inability could affect your output, what do? You try to live above board, excel, try to be that shining light that shines on other people, bringing everybody to that yardstick. Remember the other day we were talking that you can actually impact and affect, implement changes by your own conduct. Yes, and this is one of it that despite being in an environment where everybody is not used to being excellent, where excellence is not expected, you can be that shining light, lead by example. You understand? Don't get deterred because a colleague or somebody else doesn't live up to that expectation of excellence. Let excellence be your watchword. So in conclusion, Debbie, I can categorically say that Steve Jobs, for what he is, look at all his products, all his invention, everything he's involved in. Look at the mark of quality. He's speaking to standard. And I can say, in workplace, at home, in school, in the motor park or in the market, be known for excellence, be known for living up to that standard. Don't get deterred, don't get derailed by lack of input, quality input from other colleagues, friends, family, and loved ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for that. Well, also what Steve Jobs is trying to tell us is that excellence also begins with example. Even if others aren't used to high expectation, set the tone and be the one who defines what quality looks like, because true leaders don't follow standards, they create them. And also greatness comes only when you refuse to settle for average and when you inspire others to meet that same expectation. Okay, so please don't forget that every sunrise is a brand new chance, a chance for us to grow, to try something exciting, learn something different, or simply enjoy the moment wherever we find ourselves. And we'll go on a short break. Up next to be the weather reports. Hello, I'm Debra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Stay tuned as we take a look at the weather report across major cities in Southeast today.
Yes, and we'll be beginning with Oka. It's a cloudy morning with light showers expected around midday. Temperatures will range between 21 and 28 degrees Celsius, so you might want to keep that umbrella handy as you head out.
Over to Enugu. The coast city will see a mix of clouds and sunshine early on, but showers and light rain are expected as we move into the afternoon. Temperatures will hover between 23 and 30 degrees Celsius. Warm, humid, and a little wet later in the day.
And in Abakaliki, expect morning showers turning to cloudy skies by afternoon. It's a humid day ahead with highs reaching around 30 degrees Celsius. A perfect day to pace your outdoor plans between the breaks in the rain.
Now to Owerri is a rainy start for the heartland city, with showers tapering off by midday. The rest of the day will stay mostly cloudy and temperatures will rise to around 30 degrees Celsius. Keep your rain gear close. Those afternoon drizzles might just sneak in again.
And finally, Umahia. The morning begins cloudy with light rain expected by mid-morning, turning to heavier showers through the afternoon. Temperatures range between 22 and 29 degrees Celsius with occasional breaks of sunshine later in the evening.
So, wherever you are in the Southeast today, stay safe, stay dry, keep shining, but do remember that rain or shine, we've got you covered. And that's it for Weather Report today. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Bebra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chinwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Dedication is doing your best, even when no one is watching. It is the quiet force behind every masterpiece and every breakthrough. With consistency and focus, you don't just chase excellence, you become it. Stay dedicated, the results will speak.
Still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Now let's see what's making front page today on The Nation, on The Guardian, Vanguard, Daily Trust, and The Punch headlines.
All right, and joining us, our guest today to review these headlines is Mr. Chris and Gog. Mr. Chris, it's always a pleasure to see you.
It's a pleasure to join you people. Deborah, how are you?
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Again.
Thank you.
So to our headlines for today. Now on the Punch headlines, it reads, marketers blame depots as petrol nears 1,000 per litre. And on the Vanguard headlines, it reads, illegal financial outflows worsening Nigeria's revenue problem, IMF. And on the Guardian headlines, we have APC consolidates power as Mba ends PDP's 26-year reign in Enugu. And on the Daily Trust headline, we have Taraba government, other big wigs are APC. Over to you, Mr. Chris. You can take any headline. I want to know your thoughts on any of the headlines.
Which would you want me
All right,
to go for?
let's start with Governor Pitamba of Enugu State, being that the studio is located here in Enugu State and is still making news headlines across the Federation. So talking about the governor decamping to the APC, what's your view of this development?
It's an interesting one. The game of politics is always an interesting game. Every game has rules, rules of engagement. And if you must be a good player, you must know the rules of the game so that you don't get penalized in the course or process. As a matter of fact, it's quite interesting to see that the almighty PDP that has held sway in the southeastern Nigeria is no more in existence in the southeast as a whole. It's not just about Enugu now, it's about the southeastern people of Nigeria. Since 1999, that we returned to another run of democracy in the country. PDP, the People's Democratic Party, has ruled the state Enugu 26 years down the line. Well, for Mr. Peter Mba, I would say congratulations to him. It's not an easy feat to come by at all, because it's a very tough decision to have through that path. But then again is the question, why are we leaving PDP for the All Progressives Congress in Enugu State? Somebody may say it's because of the ongoing political crisis rocking the PDP. But the question again is, yes, we understand there is an internal crisis bedeviling the PDP, especially since they lost the presidency in 2015 to the APC. The party came into crisis. You know, when the center cannot hold, things will always, as expected, fall apart. And since then, they've been struggling to find their footing politically in the country. They became the major opposition party. They came very close in the last general elections with Atiku Abubakar scoring second position after the elections. But then they could not still clinch the presidency from the APC. And that has continued. But then internally, The issue of who becomes the national secretary of the party PDP was there. It's a position that was zoned to the southeastern PDP. Senator Anyan was there, duly elected during the convention of the PDP, left at some point to go into the race of the governorship, race in Imo State. And then Peter Mba, being the leader of the PDP in the southeast, was asked to get a replacement from the southeast. He nominated Udo Okoye to go take over the position. But then Anyanwu, having lost the governorship election in Imo State, returned to the office. And that generated more chaos. They went through the courts, high court, appeal court, that said Udo Okoye should be reinstated, should be placed there. But then at the Supreme Court level, the Supreme Court decided that it was not a matter within the jurisdiction of the court to decide. It should be solely reserved for the party to decide what they should do. The status quo should be maintained. And with that having been done by the courts, what did we see? Anyanwu had to go back to the office forcefully. Udo Okoye also there, and that generated more heat. But then between Peter Mba and the FCT minister, Nyesom Ezonwike, crisis erupted again. So one would say, due to the political crisis in the PDP, maybe that's why the governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, decided to jet off from the PDP. But political observers and watchers may have advised him, maybe he should have just tarried a little while. Since the PDP National Convention has been fixed for November, maybe the PDP will have been able to organize this house and then, But then again, is Nyesom Ezonwike giving up? Because I hear him threatening the party, the rest members of the party, that the convention will be null and void. So maybe as a result of the political crisis in the PDP, the movement by Peter Mba could be justified. Then again is the issue of connecting the state Enugu to the center. Because since PDP lost the presidency in 2015, it became obvious that the government in Enugu since then have not been connected to the center. So with this movement by Peter Mba to the APC, it's obvious his intention is to connect Enugu now to the central government in Abuja. But again, one would want to ask, Imo State is an APC state in the southeast. And you have Ebonyi State also in the APC from the southeast. How much of the connection have we seen, connection to the center? What has it brought for Imo? What has it brought for Ebonyi? So what's going to be different this time around with Enugu joining the APC? I know that Peter Mba has a personal relationship with Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. By the way, they are business men, especially the oil business, and which I think was what necessitated Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our president, coming to visit Enugu November last year, 2024. And a lot of persons were amazed how Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the APC was visiting Enugu of the PDP, and which happens to be the first state outside Lagos for the president to have actually visited. So between the both men, I know that there is an existing relationship. So connection to the center here shouldn't really be a problem. But again, it's the issue of politics. Politics. And I will always keep telling people, politics is always a thing about interests. Wherever you know that your interests will be better protected, then you head there. So if Peter Mba feels he's not safe within the PDP, where else could he be landing? But again, he needs to watch it, because this is Enugu. You know, I don't know if you're used to the statement, Edo no be Lagos. So this is Enugu. And Enugu has somehow wonderful romance with the People's Democratic Party, beginning from 1999 when Chimaroke Namani took the first run to Barrister Sullivan Chime, and then to former governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi before Peter Mba. At least PDP gave Peter Mba the platform to emerge as governor. So he needs to watch it. It's not just about connecting to the center. He needs to equally look down homewards to ensure that he doesn't lose touch with the grassroots. A lot of people have sympathies, they have sentiments, they have emotional attachment to the party PDP in Enugu.
All right.
It's like there is a bond. So in order to disconnect that bond between the people and the party here, Peter Mba needs to bring the politics down to the grassroots. I expect his media team to do more in sensitizing the people and carrying the people along so that the people will understand exactly why this move is very, very important for the people. So that let's not have breach or gap in communication between the political class and those of at the grassroots. Let there be proper communication. So I tell him congratulations again. I see Peter going beyond the Enugu. I see him, doing more of a national politics after his second tenure as governor. I think that's what I see in his political personality. So
all right. With this switch, you still see the governor being able to clinch the ticket and win a second term in office?
I see no opposition against the governor in Enugu.
All right. Very well said. Now, looking at the Daily Trust headline, Taraba governor, other bigwigs, IAPC, still in the same alignment and line of decampment from ruling to the ruling party from the PDP.
Well, but we must have to warn, it's dangerous that we are headed towards one-party system. Everybody now wants to align with the ruling party, the APC. The last time I checked, we have different types of party systems. You have the multi-party, you have the two-party system, and you have the one-party system. And in some other climes, there may not even be the existence of political party. You have independent candidates. If you feel you are equal to the task, present yourself to the people without actually making use of a political party. Politicians, we understand in this our climb, see political party as a vehicle. A vehicle that takes people to their destination. And once you get to your bus stop, what do? You step out of the vehicle. But for me, political parties should be more of ideology, ideological movement. Why am I joining the APC? Because of the ideology the party has, they call themselves the progressives.
Yeah.
Then the question is, the states governed by APC government, how progressive are they? Are they doing better than maybe, like in the Southeast, for instance, where we are domiciled? Anambra is governed by APGA. Abia is governed by Labour Party. Then Ebonyi and Imo by the APC. So if you are to do a comparative analysis of the progressiveness in these states, okay, would you say that states like Ebonyi, Imo, governed by APC, is more progressive than Abia? The indices are there. Do you understand the point? So if the APC as a party considers itself as progressive, maybe a leader could decide and say, okay, I want to make my own place progressive as well, so let me join. So that's the ideology we are talking about. But unfortunately here, our parties are not built on the principles of ideology. If you go to the United States of America, yes, you have the two major parties there. It's either you're a Democrat, okay, or you're a Republican. And sometimes it runs down to the family system. You could see someone whose grandfather was a member of the Democrats. So in his family lineup, the children and even the grandchildren aligns with the Democrats because that's what they believe in. Okay? But here, somebody is elected through a platform. He dumps it after a year or two and jumps up to another party. Well, Taraba governor, I understand he has such interest, but let me warn, it's not just about him alone. He's not alone in this trajectory. We'll begin to get news from the grapevine as well. Maybe, just maybe in the southeast, another governor, maybe joining the APC. Aha. So at the end of the day, if every state now embraces the All Progressives Congress, where is the power of the opposition? Or are we not going to have opposition anymore? I think that's not too healthy for democracy. And let the APC watch it. This exodus, movement of the people, political bigwigs joining the party, is also dangerous, not too healthy for the APC as a party, because there's what we call an implosion. Let it not lead to implosion within the party, because, for instance, in Enugu now, Osai, if the governor Peter Mbai is leaving the PDP with the political appointees, the commissioners, the local government chairmen, the councillors, the members of the House of Assembly, as well as the National Assembly members, into the APC. That's its structure. Before now, you have people holding sway for APC in Enugu. So what's going to happen to them? You're going to push them away. So there may not be a balance. There may not be a meeting point. And it's going to brew crisis within the party APC if the party is not careful. If they are not careful. So for Taraba, let's watch and see what happens.
All right. So we'll pray that there is no implosion in APC with the convergence of all the ruling governors. Debbie.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I would like to know your take on the Vanguard headline that says illegal financial outflows worsening Nigerians' revenue problem, IMF.
IMF need not tell us what we already know.
Okay.
Every adult Nigerian knows the crisis we have is no longer news. That our leaders, political leaders, are fond of the habit of taking away our resources out of the country. We experienced it more during the days of the military in governance. For instance, I give you an instance. Do you know how much General Sani Abacha, of blessed memory, carted from Nigeria to overseas, to the point that years after his death, Nigeria has been receiving the repatriation of these funds in millions of hard currencies. Do you understand? Yeah. Every day you hear the EFCC, you hear the, what's the other one? ICPC, chasing after politicians, court cases here and there, which reminds me, I don't know, you journalists, what's the latest with Yaya Bello, the former governor of Kogi State? His matter with the EFCC. You know the humongous amount of money involved. So it is not people like me and you that are responsible for this huge loss of money, cutting away resources overseas. It's the political class, the leaders. The people have entrusted you with the position to lead them, coordinate their resources. By the way, that's the basis of the social contract. We surrender our rights, our resources to you, because all of us cannot get into these positions at the same time. So we need representation. So we entrust you with these offices, but then you get in there and you see enormous resources, and the next thing that comes to your mind is primitive accumulation of resources. You want to gather resources for your unborn generation that maybe will not even appreciate your efforts when you're long gone. Children of these the Gen Zs come up with surprises. Yes, you may think you're saving for the unborn generation, and then they come and they just waste it away. They have their own different plans. So at the end of the day, to what end? To what end? So IMF telling us that these corrupt practices is leading to loss of revenue. We know that's our bane, that's our problem here. But then what we're looking for is the solution. How can we curb these corrupt practices? Again, it takes two for corruption to tally. Yes, if you have a giver, there is a receiver. So if our people have been taking money overseas, who receives them there? Who receives them? The receiver. So why are we not talking about the receiver? Because if they have a system that blocks off, okay, this money from coming into their climb, then maybe our people will learn their lessons not to take it anymore. If they get you as a political leader in Nigeria bringing in, fund or resources, then they'll probe you. Where's this money coming from? We'll begin to hear of one major political stakeholder right now in this administration in Nigeria that has so many, houses in one of the biggest nations in the West. So why is that very particular country, the United States of America, not probing that very particular person? So until they help us, and until we decide to help ourselves as well, change our orientation about politics, about leadership, it's an opportunity given to you to take care of your people. It's not just for you to go there and amass wealth, primitive accumulation of resources, enrich yourself and your generation. It's a problem. The problem.
All right. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. Now to our last paper coming from the Punch headline, and marketers blame depots as petrol nears 1,000 naira per litre.
Oh, well, that is where the father of corruption lies, the oil sector in Nigeria. And you see what they're doing with Dangote refinery.
Yeah.
The other time, Dapma came up and said, no. Dangote shouldn't be distributing fuel directly to the people.
Okay.
Dangote has to supply fuel to the depots. They just want to be able to manipulate, price control system, whatever they decide should be the cost for petrol. Okay. That's what's going to be. This morning, was it this morning or yesterday? I think I heard over the news that Dangote is now ready to send out his CNG trucks to start distributing fuel at the cost of 850 naira. But at the filling stations, the cost is at 900. I don't know if you've checked recently.
Yeah, I checked.
Between 900 and something. So you see that what Dangote is bringing into the system is competition. Yeah. Because the best form of market anywhere is a competitive market. A monopolistic market is not healthy. It doesn't help the economy. So what about the depot managers, Pengassin, where are they? These oil unions and whatever they are. Last time I heard their Vice President Shetima appealing to Pengassin and the rest of them that they should understand that Dangote is not just a name. It was an institution. This is the direct words of the Vice President. And this is the time Nigerians are yearning and beckoning on the government to get more serious with our oil sector. Why are our refineries not functioning in Nigeria? See what we spend shipping our crude oil outside Nigeria. We give it out as crude and only gets it back as refined product. What about the other chain products? You know what we lose in the cost of refining crude into refined oil? And then we get it back here at a higher cost. I mean, who does that? I don't know who did this to us anyway, but let's just be hopeful that the battle between the system and Dangote will not consume the rest of us Nigerians. You don't want to peg the cost of fuel 1,000 naira per litre. It will eventually, has a cost-effect relationship effect on us, because the prices of commodities in the market will always keep soaring higher, because traders, farmers who need to bring their wares to the market from their places of production will not find transportation easy. So that's a problem. Yeah. That's a problem.
All right. Very well captured. You've heard from our guests analyzing these very problematic issues. Speaking to the headline on the Punch newspaper about marketers blaming depots for petroleum pricing getting up to 1,000 naira. And then, like he did say, why or who did this to us as a nation? Why is it that every time we seem to be getting things right, it gets worse than it ought to be. And then what's the situation? One may recall that given the warning strike from Pengasson, Nupeng, and then Dangote Refinery sacking about 800 workers from their fold giving the excuse of consistent sabotage and all that, one would begin to see that this, as a result, has affected the supply and output from the Dangote Refinery, and thereby causing or worsening the fuel situation in Nigeria. Now, one expects that with Dangote's bringing in the logistic-free fuel distribution that he talked about as at 15th September, that one would see that the pricing of fuel, like they did posit, would begin to come down, because we were told that the pricing will be around 841 to 850, given location, perhaps stays closer to the refinery in the southwest could sell for 841 naira, and those of them found up north could be selling for 851 naira. But as at this report coming in, that's not what it is. Prices have, when you go through some cities, some parts of Lagos, Abuja and Sokoto, the pricing of petroleum products, premium motor spirit, is selling up to 1,000 naira. And then one begins to look at this situation, getting to a point where the marketers are now asking government for license for them to be able to import petroleum products into Nigeria. Now, moving back to that very situation that we all celebrated, that we've moved away from, the era of bringing adulterated substandard products. Is that the era that we're going back to? Given all this scenario and situation, we may begin to call again or remind ourselves and ask questions. What has come out of the investigation by EFCC, the account of stewardship being given by Kiraye of his days in NNPCL, and the $2 million that was voted for the turnaround maintenance of our refineries? If those refineries have been maintained and are working up to capacity, despite whatever challenges the Dangote refinery may be facing, will not be able to throw us into either scarcity or increment. Yes, while we agree that if all these are working, then there will be genuine competition amongst the players in the industry. But we'll have to categorically call for the EFCC to quicken up their investigation, prosecute whoever is found wanting and has erred. Let us know where this $2 million has gone to. Because if these refineries, talk about the Warri refinery, talk about the Port Harcourt refinery and the Kaduna refinery, sum together, if they are working, we'll be able to have about 445 barrels per day of oil production. And that will go in a long way with whatever capacity that Dangote has brought on board to stabilize and force prices to come down for the good people of Nigeria. Like our guest did mention, if this continues to skyrocket, it will begin to impact the prices of food in Nigeria. Therefore, we call on the government to please retool the policies to re-engineer Nigeria to a proper direction where we do not see factors or causes that will cause petroleum products to skyrocket abysmally. Initially, we were told that things will be controlled by market forces, but this time around, we do not believe that they are being controlled by market forces. Now, moving over to the Vanguard headline by the IMF, talking about illegal financial outflows worsening Nigeria's revenue problem. Our guest did bring out the key issue here. It's not about talking about where embezzlements are moving away from, where the people siphoning Nigerian money and others. Yes, we are quite aware of how the taxpayers' money is being siphoned away from the country. And like he didn't observe, the question is, the IMF that is now talking about bringing out a blueprint to help us fight and check the embezzlers and where this money, looted money, go into and help us copy it. He did mention, what are they doing about the collaborators? what are we doing about these collaborators? This is important because when you read how Europe underdeveloped Africa, it now brings to point that it is very, very imperative and important that we bring these collaborators to book. And who are these collaborators who can be bold to say? And as a nation, we should be very decisive and not wait on IMF, the World Bank, to lead this blueprint for us. Rather, we should call it out for what it is. Let these foreign nations that keep these looted funds come out, return them, prosecute these people as criminals, as common thieves. Then, until then, we will see sincerity on the part of IMF, on the part of the international community as collaborators for the progress of Nigeria. It cannot be a one-sided issue. As he did bring out, if there is no giver, there will be no receiver. There is a receiver because there is a giver. And if the receiver is not there, the giver would be easily found out in Nigeria. And you see our politicians, where are they investing these looted funds? Not in Nigeria, definitely, like he has pointed out. A number of them are building and buying mansions outside the country. It still beholds on Nigeria and Nigerians, because Nigeria will not be built by outsiders. Nigeria can only be built by Nigerians. So let's show sincerity and integrity to combine these factors ourselves and not wait on IMF to call our attention to this or to tell us to put our house in order. And then finally, summing it up with the issue of defections and all that with the political party, we've seen that the last man standing in the southeast finally has bowed out. Enugu State. Finally, yes, bows out of PDP. And like we did mention, there is a lot of mistrust about by Easterners on APC. But this time around, one may begin to argue that it is the PDP that has betrayed the people of the southeast this time around. And as a result, we may not see very serious opposition against the governors for leaving the PDP in the southeast. Why has PDP failed to give their ticket to the zone that has supported them the most? The Southeast has given PDP the 26 years of their uninterrupted commitment to the party. And what have we been rewarded with that? So therefore, we do not expect serious opposition from the Southeasterners, from people of Enugu. As a matter of fact, the PDP may have helped the governor in making it easier for him, in the sense that sentiments are now swayed to anything but the PDP as regards with the betrayal of the Southeast. And then going forward, looking at the other governors that are talking about the campaign, talking about Abia State governor, for example, leaving the APC, is one may see that if it ever happens or eventually happens as a homecoming for the governor, being that he's been a member of the APC, he has tried to become governor several times from the fold of the APC. So that may be a homecoming for him. And then moving over to Taraba State and the other governors that may want to join the fold of the APC, we know that Governor Peter Mba may not be the last. And like our guest did point out, we know about Bayelsa State Governor Dio Ediri, we know about, Taraba State Governor Kefas, and Zavra State Governor, His Excellency Dauda, is equally gearing up from the information from the grapevine to join the fold. But like he did point out, that APC should watch it that they do not implode. So what we call on is that the APC, the governors moving, should see to it that they are leaving PDP to APC is their right, but let them make sure that the dividends of democracy, the dividends impart on the lives of the citizens who has elected them, giving them the trust to lead them in their various states. Let them see to it that there is impact, verifiable impact, upliftment of people from the grassroots, from the lower level to the other level. Move the economy of the state higher than what it is. Not just moving from political party, but being able to move the nation, the states, from ideological dependence on import-based derived economy to production to agriculture, let the development be felt across the localities of each and every state throughout the federation. Debbie.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Uche, and thank you, Mr. Chris, for your analysis on this today. And thank you very much for also joining us. And then don't forget that you can grab physical copies at your favorite vendor or card the e-paper online. And also do not forget to follow or tag us at Aneke TV across Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, or YouTube. Also call our phone number 07030437110. We'll be right back. Still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Well, today, in respect to yesterday's headline on the Vanguard paper that read, "Do or Die clashed teams, one chance," and it was bound to be a battle for survival on African soil between Nigeria and Benin Republic match yesterday. And as we can see, I would like to say, first of all, a big congratulations to Nigeria for taking the lead, or for winning 4-0 against Benin Republic, with Victor Osimhen scoring three goals and Aneke adding one to it. So congratulations to the Super Eagles on yesterday's victory.
All right, congratulations the Super Eagles of Nigeria for at least thrashing Benin Republic in that match, and congratulations to Oluchukwu Mba and Emma in our studios here. I can see that they are very hilarious, very celebrative this morning that Nigeria won their match.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations to them, very well.
Yeah,
And then, at least, yes, Nigerians can be happy that Nigeria at least has qualified to be in the playoff.
Yeah.
So now is what happens from here. At least the chances of qualifying for the tournament, the World Cup in the America, hosted by US, Canada, and Mexico. Yeah. They now have a chance to determine if they will be there. It's no longer the mathematical calculation from Mr. Oluchukwu Mba on Nigeria being able to go to the World Cup next year. So, let's see what they will do at the playoff. We don't know who they will be playing next, but it's in their hands now.
Yeah.
So we don't have to start praying to God, believing that our God is bigger and stronger than their God.
Yeah.
They too, whichever nation we will play with, are equally a prayerful nation.
Yes,
so we should be able to do our mathematics, do our homework very well, and then go forth, make the nation proud. And then make doubters like myself, who no longer believes in our ability to do the right thing on the field of play, win matches, and become that powerhouse in the football that we used to know. Those who are heartbroken by the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the management of the Super Eagles, and all that, so that at the end of the day, maybe perhaps they can bring us back to the fold. So, Debbie, congratulations to Super Eagles.
Yes,
congratulations to Oluchukwu Mba.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And now we'll be moving over to our celebration for today. And our celebration for today is the Global Hand Washing Day. And this day is an international observance held every year on October 15 to promote the importance of washing hands with soap and water as one of the simplest and most effective ways to prevent disease and save lives. It was first launched in 2008 by the Global Hand Washing Partnership with support from organizations like UNICEF and the World Health Organization, WHO. And the main goal of Global Hand Washing Day is to raise awareness about the benefits of hand hygiene in preventive illnesses such as diarrhea, diseases, respiratory infections, and COVID-19. And also, it is to encourage behavioral change, motivating communities, schools, and families to make hand washing with soap a habitual practice. Another aim is to promote health and well-being, especially among children, by reducing the spread of germs in homes, schools, workplaces, and healthcare settings. And how this day is being celebrated? Global Hand Washing Day is marked through education, demonstrations, and public engagement around the world. And common activities are in school programs. Teachers and students organize demonstration on proper hand washing steps and songs to make hygiene education fun and memorable. And also, we also have community campaigns where NGOs and governments also hold centers to teach people about hygiene. And next is the media awareness, which is the radio, TV, and social media platforms share messages about the importance of washing hands with soap and water. And also, we have the hand washing station. We also have partnership events, which are always conducted by government and health organizations, where they often collaborate to launch new sensitization initiatives for hygiene policies on this day. So while, in summary, Global Hand Washing Day is more than a health reminder. It's a worldwide call to action that highlights how something as simple as washing hands with soap can prevent disease, promote dignity, and protect communities. So let us know what you're celebrating. Wherever you are, you can tag us at Aneke TV across Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube, all at Aneke TV, or call our phone number 070-3043-7110. And it's a wrap on today's edition of Sunrise. It's always a pleasure having you on our show every morning. I'm Deborah Wakuba.
And I'm Uche Osai. Remember, stay bold, be unique. Keep watching Aneke TV to come your way same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Deborah Wakuba.
I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Beauty is not a mirror's gift. It lives deeper in how we listen, how we love, how we live. It's the kindness that lingers and the courage that doesn't quit. The world may sell perfection, but real beauty is flawed, fierce, and free. It's in stretch marks and smile lines, in stories and scars. When you see someone who glows, it's not their skin, it's their soul breaking through. That's beauty. Raw, radiant, and real.
Enugu is one of the 36 states of Nigerian Federation. It is located on a hilltop in the southern part of the country. It has a rich history and robust cultural heritage that boasts its uniqueness. Igbo is a widely spoken language in Enugu State. Enugu is popularly called the Coal City State because of its large deposits of coal and other mineral resources. Enugu has 17 local government area councils. The history of Enugu dates back to the early 20th century, when the British discovered coal in the Udi Hills in 1909, which led to the development of Enugu City in 1912 as a thriving mining town. Enugu empowered the Nigeria railway system and electric plants greatly during the colonial era. On the 27th of August 1991, Enugu was carved out from Anambra to become a state. As the home of the Igbo people, Enugu's culture reflected in its music, art, and traditions. Enugu is situated in the eastern part of Nigeria, sharing borders with Benue at the north, Ebonyi at the east, Abia and Imo at the south, and Anambra and Kogi at the west, covering approximately 7,161 square kilometers. Enugu is characterized by undulating hills, forests, rivers, and fertile soil, making it suitable for farming. The state experiences significant rainfall with an average annual precipitation of around 2,100 millimeters and temperatures averaging 28 degrees Celsius. The people of Enugu State are predominantly Igbo, one of the largest ethnic groups in Nigeria. The Igbo language is a fundamental part of their culture and identity, with many dialects spoken across the state. Language plays a vital role in shaping the culture and identity of the Igbo people. Enugu is very rich in culture and traditional practices, one of which is the New Yam Festival, Iriji, which is a traditional celebration that marks the beginning of the harvest season. Another significant cultural event is the Masquerade Festival, Mmong, a colorful display of traditional dances, songs, and drumming. During this festival, different communities come together to showcase their masquerades. Enugu State is also known for its traditional arts including wood carving, pottery, weaving, and music. Enugu's cultural traditions help promote community cohesion, social bonding, and cultural identity. In the past, Enugu's economy was largely driven by coal mining. During the colonial era, Enugu was one of Nigeria's major industrial and economic centers. Today, Enugu's economy has become more diversified with some key sectors which includes agriculture, trade and markets, education and government, tourist centers. Enugu State is an important part of Nigeria, known for its cultural richness, peaceful environment, rich history and tourist attractions. From its coal mining history to its current role as an educational and cultural hub, Enugu continues to grow and contribute greatly to the development of Nigeria.
Peace is not passive. It is built. It grows through tolerance, justice, and mutual respect. Without peace, development is a dream. We all play a role, from homes to nations. Choosing peace in our actions and words can transform the world. Be a peacemaker.
Over the years, parents and guardians have battled with the rising cost of school materials, and at the center of this challenge are non-transferable textbooks, popularly known as workbooks. These books are designed in such a way that once a child has written in them, they cannot be passed on to siblings or other students. At first, the idea seemed innovative, but over time, some school management began making these books compulsory. Pupils and students without them often found themselves unable to complete certain assignments, creating a sharp departure from the long-standing practice of simply using notebooks. While convenient for teachers, this academic style came at a cost literally. Families were forced to purchase new copies every academic year, thereby increasing the economic hardship for the family. Recently, the governments of Imo, Benue, Anambra, and Ondo states moved to address this burden by banning the use of non-transferable textbooks in their schools. The decision has sparked conversations across communities. When Aneke TV spoke with parents and guardians, reactions were mixed. Many expressed relief, welcoming the chance to save money and return to a culture of reusing books. Others, particularly in states yet to adopt the policy, are watching closely, hoping similar changes will soon reach their children's classrooms.
I believe the government meant well for schools by making that policy of non-transferable textbooks to schools. Though it has not gotten down to Enugu State, but I believe in due time our government will review its own as well. It's not bad for me to say that. It's not bad because the curriculum review, I know it comes, I think, 3 years, every 3 or 4 years. If a textbook, if a child or children in a particular family uses the textbook, at the time there will be another curriculum review. If he prompts to change that textbook, we will follow suit. It's a welcome development, and I believe the government meant well.
It's quite discouraging and it's quite disturbing that somebody, your sibling, the book, for instance, the book somebody used, then that the person's sibling, the child's sibling, that is coming to the class, the next academic session, will not use that book. It's not healthy. It's not the ideal thing. It's exploitative, and wherever such thing is tenable, they should think twice and change it, because it's not good.
It's a beautiful and welcome development. In this situation, I think the government meant well for both parents, learners, and schools. So with this, I think that the parents will no longer complain of paying for textbooks, each term pay for textbook and all that. And also the teachers will have a separate book or a separate exercise book for homework and other things. So the writing in the textbook, most times when you give the learners textbooks to do their homework, before the term will run out, in fact, it will not even last for a whole section.
As schools reopen, the ban is already making a difference. Parents in the affected states breathe easier, while those elsewhere continue to push for reform. For many, the bigger hope is not just to cut costs, but to restore an educational tradition where books are handed down, knowledge is shared, and no child is left behind because of financial barriers. Chidimi Kemede, Aneke TV.
It was Robert Greene who asserted, "The future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways." The Wise Counsel greatly explores why it is permanent for growing youth to learn and master in-demand skills. There are skills one can engage in to boost independence, employability, self-confidence, and entrepreneurship. Some of them include events decoration, hairstyling, furniture making, painting, tiling, and house decoration. Likewise, some tech skills such as search engine optimization, ethical hacking, web design, and game development. Although learning these skills could be time-consuming, difficult, and unclear, it is advised to keep learning until you become a master of it. Learning a skill is not enough. It requires mastering to compete favorably in the marketplace. When Aneke TV interacted with some residents of Enugu, they said that mastering a good skill was a gateway to financial freedom, economic empowerment, and a nation building.
My name is Tochukwu Ikeme Austin. I'm a stylist. I fix nails. We do pedicure, manicure. We do both locking. You understand? Both piercing, any type of piercing. That's what we do for a living. But instead of being idle, you have to get something doing to support yourself about tomorrow. Yeah, I learned it from my boss. I have a boss. It's not that much, but it's how fast you are. You learn it. And being creative, because call it stylist, you have to be creative. And that's all. I am my living, but not just that much, because you know we have a different motive. Maybe if you be looking for 1 million, then maybe you are getting 200,000. But you have to manage it instead of being idle. You understand? So that's it.
What do you tell Nigerian youths that are idle?
It's nothing. It's just to look for something doing instead of being idle. You understand? It's something that you cannot even learn. Maybe it cannot even be 6 months or 3 months. You can learn it. It's something simple. It's free if you are ready for it. Instead of being idle, you give it a try.
Afambo Abuchi Christopher. Ina if no phone kaina alo. All from phone na kai say azo why. From all phone na kai say eri nni. We na akwụkwọ ụgwọ no. Tie ihe ndị ọzọ gasị. Ina amụm ya amụ anọkatala m photo ozugbo. Bialwa phone amụm ya amụ. Ewe ka esi amụ ya. Ewe ndị na-amụ eye, ewe ndị na-amụ 6 months. So mụ amụm ya eye mụọ ya. Awokwe gasị gị na ọ kacha alụ. Mana the little one emutagodu oge yenwu ego and ị ga-esi nwunye wee na-egbo mkpa gị.
Chimeremma Vivian, Ofo by name, from Enugu State. As you can see, I'm a shoemaker designer by professional. Yes, a lot of gains, at least. Everywhere good, and God has been faithful to it. Depending on the designs, you can get the one of 15, 12, 20, 25, 30,000, depending the one you want. It's not easy, but on the process, once you get it, so you understand what you are doing, it will be easier for you to do. Yes, you have to go through the process now. If you have passion now, I believe if you have passion on something, if you go there, you achieve what you want. Once you are less busy and you are not doing anything, you channel your energy in something else. Skin is good. Handworking is good. At least you earn your own money without being insulted by some major things.
My name is Chemerie, known as Papilo of shoes. Well, I don't like discussing about this, but I can tell you that this work is one of the handmade. How should I put it? Handcrafts work that gives money. Is also good. I didn't work under one boss, because I started this work in a tender age. Only thing I can drop as something to them is that in life is not that easy for men to just stay and relax at home or all these things. So it's not that easy. That's one. Secondly, everybody needs to have what he or she is doing.
My name is Ogidi Kenneth. I'm from Enugu State. I'm doing shoe making in Oboetemen Market in Enugu, let's say 14 years now.
Hello, I'm Debra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us today on The Insight. Remember, The Insight is that program where we estray and give post-mortem analysis on issues that help in shaping our nation. This could be policies, this could be news headline, news outbreak, factors. Think of it in any way that contributes in shaping our nation. And we'll do this by bringing you opinion molders, men and women who have been part of formulating policies, who has lived and helped to shape issues in this nation. And today, we'll be looking at youth drift and faith in Southeast Nigeria. And speaking with us is the very Reverend Kingsley Nwokocha Okocha, PhD. He is the presbyter, Garki Circuit, Enugu, and the Enugu Archdiocesan Director of Evangelism. He is equally the principal, Portable School of Evangelism and Leadership Build, Methodist Church of Nigeria, Archdiocese of Enugu. Very Reverend Kingsley, it's a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right.
Highly blessed.
Thank you. Now, we are looking at the issue of youth drift and faith in Southeast Nigeria. But before I start moving into this very topic, I want to ask, you are a minister.
Yes.
And you are a practicing Christian as well. So I want to know, our audience would want to know, how difficult is it being a Christian and a minister in Southeast Nigeria in this era?
Actually, first I thank God for being here, for the opportunity to share in the insight as it pertains to the pastoring or the issues of the youth currently. Some years back, I traveled for my academics in UK and was having a little challenge about the youth issues in the church. Like one of the places where I normally worship in Liverpool, the youngest of them in that church, in one Methodist church, Warrington Street, the youngest of them is 65 years. That's the youngest person. So while I was addressing the church and over again, somebody said to me, Kingsley, you are rejoicing that in Africa, the youths are doing well, but hear it very well. What is happening in Europe will happen in Nigeria soon.
Okay.
And already it's happening.
All right. So, sorry to cut you short. What is that thing that is happening in Europe that this person alludes that will happen in Nigeria soon?
The issue of the youth being disconnected from the traditional church or traditional faith, that they no longer find satisfaction in the church or in the traditional faith, wherein they are looking for other things that satisfy their conscience and their being.
All right.
So the same thing the man said will be coming to Africa.
Okay.
Very soon.
And as we go into the program, perhaps that's what we are extraying to find out why is it so. But Reverend, I want to know, looking at the church, will you say or agree that the church is moving away from its original mandate?
The church is still, when we are talking about the church, we are talking about the ecclesia. And the ecclesia simply means the called out. The word ecclesia simply means they called out, people that have been called out by God to stand out. And ecclesia also mean a community of faith. So in its sincerity, the ecclesia cannot drift. But the denominations in ecclesia, we can have challenges. So now when we are talking about the denominations, you know, the churches, in quote, not the umbrella, the church, the big word, the church. The Bible says the gate of hell, the church will march forward, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. So the church, the faith of the church is static, but there are still some areas where it seems as if that the individual denominations, we are drifting away. And that is why we have this program, to look into it, to see how do we get back as individual churches or denominations to what the church stands out for.
Okay. Now, speaking to denominations, I want to rephrase.
Okay.
Reverend, I know a lot of men of God, men of the cloth like you, don't want to get into this part of it. But we'll have to x-ray this issue. Talking about denomination, can one say that the denominations have derailed from that original mandate vis-a-vis Southeast and Nigeria?
Okay, when we are talking about the individual denominations, we are just talking about different teachings, dogmatic or doctrines, upheld by different persons or different denominations. And certainly the scriptures continue right from day one, from the time of the fathers, to tell us much about teachings, which has really eroded part of the core aspect of our teachings. And that is the area that we are having the challenge. Because there are different teachings based on different understanding and based on different assimilations, where people now will teach in the way they understand, or based on what they want to get, or based on selfish purposes, or understanding based on their personal belief, that may also come to the point of the challenge the entire church is having today. And that's where we are having a problem when we are talking about the youths or the church. Part of what the church is standing out for is, like I say, the church talks about the called out, people that have been separated, people that are as light. Like Matthew chapter 16, the Bible says that you are the light of the world. We are. Let my light so shine before men that they may see. That they may see. Let my light, our light, so shine that they may see. The biggest challenge that we are having today is that both the youths and people around the church or denominations, what they are seeing today seems very deceitful. And that's why, including the youths, they are not getting satisfied. Let me use, for instance, when a father who also have the tag of being a Christian, every morning you will make sure that your children goes to church, but you yourself, you are at home. What do you think that the young people are learning from you? Or some of the fathers may even drive their wives or their children to the church, and at the end of the day, they go to the bar or whatever. So you can see that the children is also learning from their father. Soonest, they'll start behaving like that because their fathers, though Christians, but they are not well established, holding tenaciously the faith. So we gradually will be coming to those aspects.
Now that you've talked about it, now let's look at those, let's speak to the factors that makes youth drift away from the church and tilt towards the traditional worship.
Okay. Remember I said, when we are talking about the church, the ecclesia, we are talking about two things. Number one, they called out. People that should be separate. People that should shine forth, show forth. That's number one. Number two, the people that have a strong belief, a way of life established in God, in Christ. Now, I've talked about the issue of stand out. Today, the churches or the denominations go through the medias, go through social medias and every other thing. You will hear untold issues, things that are happening in the church, abominable issues, things that are well challenging that when you look at some of these things, somebody may say, if church is like this, I may not want to go again. You hear about things, immoral lives, killings, murdering, and all the rest of them. Lying, acquisition of false wealth, and all the rest of them. And the youths are watching. The other way around, we're also talking about we are not also being example of what we're supposed to be. When the Bible talked about the first Christians, the Bible said that they were Christ-like, the way they behaved, the way they walk, the way they thought, the way they speak, the way they behave. Everything was an example. That was why when Paul was writing to Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 12, he said to Timothy concerning the youth, he said, let no one despise thy youth, but be thou an example, both in faith, in purity, and in your conduct. Now, the youth that should be example that others will follow would also learn from the elderly ones. Now, when they're not getting that example, that's where the challenge comes from. That's one aspect. Then the other way around, when we are talking about the community of faith people that have been raised, the question is, first, we ask ourselves as parents, we ask ourselves as church leaders, how have we been raising these people? Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, the Bible said, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So that's the major two aspects. Now, coming down to other factors, we are looking at many factors. One of the factors would be the social media. Okay. Because even while the parents or the traditional churches, we are trying to build or train up the child, social media is also training the children, because almost every child have access to either Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and all the likes. And most of the times they spend more time with these things than they spend with their parents or in the church. And they learn more on issues like years back when I was doing my first degree. My thesis topic was the effect of home video on the development of a child. So, under normal circumstance, the home video or the media, social media, supposed to be one, educative, supposed to be an entertainment, supposed to be a nation building, life building. But today, you see a lot of things. And these are issues, things that continue to shape lives in either in one way or the other way. Open the Facebook anytime. What you see would be nude or nudie pictures. You see write-ups that are outrageous, issues that doesn't actually build lives. Watch our media, our videos or whatsoever. The easiest thing, the two better easiest things you can see there would be either quick money, making quick money, or rituals. And the youth are learning about this. Because the more they watch somebody, probably the film would last about, let's say, 1 hour. 45 minutes, you're talking about that person doing either ritual or killing or whatever. The next thing, the person will start building big houses, big mansions, riding big cars, and all the rest of them. Within 45 minutes, the child is watching those things. Seeing that it's easier to make quick money through rituals or armed robbery or whatever. Or for the girls, you flirt, you wear nudie picture, dressing, and all the rest of them. And the remaining 10 minutes, they will say the person have just repented. And the person have learned 45 minutes of the evil ways. Then just 5-10 minutes, say, I give my life to Jesus. The person, the one that child has learned more, is the one that he has stayed longer with. That's one aspect. Okay, the other way around, the peer group, the people you associate with. They would always say, show me your friend, I will tell you the kind of person you are. And the things around us the people around us also are birds of the same feather, flock together. And what shapes the children more is also the peer group. Why? Because the parents are more entangled with the activities of the day. They are busy, parents are there off, mother is off quite early, the man is off quite early. The child stays more either with the maid or with the friends and learns more values or things from that person. Okay, apart from that, coming to the church is also, to an extent, the denominations, more of the problem. Because the society is already tilting towards prosperity, getting wealth by all means. Then the church also now leaving the core, the integrity, the foundation, building the foundation of the faith. We are now preaching more of the prosperity. Prosperity is quite good. I believe in prosperity. But where you emphasize more on prosperity than on values, where you teaches or talk about more on prosperity than on faith in Christ Jesus, you're having a problem. Because a man, I read something about a certain man who went to a church and the pastor was preaching. He saw how tall, how huge the man was, looking gorgeous and every other thing. The pastor got to him and said, God said, whatever you do, you will prosper. I prophesy to you within the next 1 week, you will do this, you will do that. Without knowing that man was an armed robber. After saying that, the man went home, called his gang and said, the pastor prayed for me, even anointed me. And we are going to, it means that tonight's activity is going to be great. And we'll start from him because they raised funds. And he had over 2 million. The church was the first place he went to. Because for that man, all he could hear from the church was the prosperity, not a change of life, not a transformation. Because one of the things about the church should be a place of transformation. A place of transformation. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 2 says, be ye transformed, that you no longer be confined. He said, let your life, let my body be a sacrifice acceptable to God. So the first thing before prosperity, the Bible said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. But because of our overemphasis on the prosperity, the good health, and all the rest of them, we're having a problem. So that's part of that's where the church is also getting it, the denominations, we are getting it a bit wrong.
Okay.
We should first get the soul, say, train up a child in the way he should go.
Okay. So, Reverend, what you're letting us know that majorly the blame is on the failure of the family to influence the child.
Yes.
And then, one may want to ask, now that you've talked about the denomination, it can be said that the denomination's emphasis on prosperity is an underlying factor on this issue.
It's one of the biggest challenges.
Okay. Without wanting to go further to other questions, let's tackle this very challenge. Okay. How and what is the church doing to curb such influence?
Okay. Let me use Psalm number 1. Psalm number 1 from verse 1. The Bible said, blessed is the man who walk not in the way of the ungodly, nor sit in the seat of scoffers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord. And on his word, he meditates day and night. Then the Bible says in verse 3, such man or such a person will be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters, that bears its fruit in its season. His leaves will not wither. Whatsoever he does will prosper. So before we talk about the emphasis, or we talk about prosperity and the emphasis thereof, we should first talk about the life.
Okay.
You don't give a knife to, somebody like what we're having today. Everybody wants to prosper. This morning, somebody is, what do you call him? A conductor. Without passing through the rudiment of driving. This morning he's a conductor. In the afternoon he's a driver. What do you expect? Accident. Because the person did not pass through the rudiments of driving. And the person don't even know the value of life. The same way, when you give prosperity money in the hand of somebody who doesn't even know the value of it, what do you expect? That's why even in the political era, among the politicians, or even in the educational places, you see somebody today, probably somebody got into the university through, what do you call it, special center, and sought his way out from first year till 7th year as a doctor. What do you expect that person to do in the hospital? The person sought his way through. He didn't even sit down one day to read. He didn't know anything. Ask him anything. Ask anything. He doesn't know. What you certainly be aware of is that we'll be having problem in the medical sector, because the person didn't pass through the normal way. Somebody is a lecturer today, or is what do you call it, a teacher. You don't know. You can't even speak one correct English, and tomorrow you're teaching. What are you going to teach? Nothing. The same way, when money comes into the hand of somebody who doesn't value life, what do you expect? Destruction. So that's where the church should sit back. We have the platform. We have the opportunity to transform lives, to talk to lives, to shape lives. Because the church in the Igbo land or the southeast, almost before now, almost 3/4 of the indigenes are of one denomination or the other. And churches continue to spring up here and there. But why we should ask ourselves the question, the churches that are springing up here and there, what effect is it having in the lives of the members? Okay. Where you are not touching the lives positively, you won't expect anything less. Now, you've talked about issue of the youth drifting. One of the aspects of our challenge is that the economy is affecting us.
Okay.
And the church don't have any answer. Unemployment is on the increase. The church don't have any answer. Call it what do you call it? Corruption is on the increase, yet we don't have any answer. And the youths, they are seeing all these things, and they ask a question: what effect, positive effect, is going to church on us? We have gone to school, we don't have work to do, and every time we come to church, maybe we give offerings, we are asked to pay tithe, then we don't have anything doing. And these are the same youths you're telling about issues of prosperity. You are in the church today, tomorrow you are prospering. And the church that will tell you you are prospering tomorrow is not also telling you how to walk. You need to walk for success to come. You need to walk for you to prosper. Look at Psalm number 1, where I noted in verse 3. In that verse 3 says, whatsoever you do, that is, your work will prosper. When you're not doing anything, and prophecies are laid upon you, so what are you going to do? Nothing. You are not employed, and there's no answer to that. So it's a problem.
Okay. Now that we'll dealt with the issue of prosperity, though we'll still come back to that, because there has been a lot of arguments that being a Christian, that the Bible assures you of being prosperous.
Yes.
However, let's look at the issue, the argument by a number of young people that the traditional religion offers more protection than Christianity. How would you respond to that?
The issue of traditional religion is quite a big drift. How do I mean? When we are talking about, let me bring the issue of our culture. As the Igbos, or in the Southeast, one of the issues about the Southeast is our belief, strong belief in God, and strong belief in communal life, community life. And part of the communal life is the issue of right standing with your maker. But when we are talking about quick money, getting like what we are seeing today among the youth, is the issue of quick money, which falls under corruption,
Okay.
which is quite different. It's against our culture. Our culture as Igbos or Southeast is against corruption.
Okay.
Is a taboo. But in our explanation today, what we explain to be our culture is those taboos. How? Because we make quick money. We enter into lots of rituals, which, including the land, abhors. The land, as long as the Igbo culture is concerned, both our culture and our tradition talks about right standing with your maker.
Okay.
Right standing with your maker. But you see that today emphasis on our lives as youths is how do we make money, because we felt that that's the easiest way. But we forget also, like the Ecclesiastes says, it says a good name is better than good ointment. Good name. In African culture, we believe in good name, not just wealth. If you make wealth and the community or the society don't know how you made that money, the community abhors you. They don't accept that your money. They reject that your money. So as part of our culture in the Southeast is good name. Our culture stands on the right pedestal, moving on the right side, which is part of why the church is also there. The church should be like a plumb line, leading us through the moral life. That's what the church is. But the problem we have is that everybody wants to make quick wealth. Remember, globally, there's a big problem. I've talked about the issue of poverty.
Yes.
It's a big challenge. It's a big challenge.
All right. Now that we're talking about it, I want to ask, are you aware of the concept of Ezenwoke, Ezenwani, and Okite in Southeast Nigeria?
Yes, I'm quite aware of it. And that's part of the drifting. One thing that we should come to understanding or come to know, like I noted earlier on, is that in our African culture and vis-a-vis the tradition, the church is the concept of God. God is the first thing. Your faith, my faith in God, which is what the church is standing out for. And the church believes also, like I noted, in prosperity. When the church came into Nigeria, like the Methodists, when being the first church that came in 1842, part of the things that Methodist church did and Anglican that followed and other churches that followed was the issue of establishment of schools to build up knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and the educational knowledge. And from there, they also build up leaders. Like most of the leaders we had in the early days of before the independence are people that passed through either the church or through the Muslim world, but they were quite educated. The church provides the platform for knowledge so that we can grow. Another thing the church provided was things like the healthcare, hospitals, and many other things. Now from there, we started building a society that is morally inclined, that knows the right from the left. The society that can attest, say, this thing is right and this thing is wrong. But along the way, everybody wants to get quick money. Now that brought the issue of Ezenwoke and Ezenwani, the key days. Because everybody wants when they are saying, let's go back to the tradition of our fathers. Tradition of our fathers, there is not ritual. It's not making of all these concussions. It's not quick wealth. It's good name, good rapport with God. But what we are believing today to be the issue of Ezenwoke and Ezenwanye is this issue of making money, quick money. That's why Yahoo is on the rise. That's why kidnapping is on the rise. That's why rituals, killing, murder is on the rise. Because everybody wants to make quick money. The issue of the sanity, the peace, the progress of the society is no longer there. And that's where the church needs to work. Okay? So, when we are talking about the Ezenwoke, the Okite, I had a little challenge at that time. One of my members who happened to be a musician went to play music for somebody. They called them to play music. After playing the music, the Ezenwanye that invited them for said to him that you must come. I want to make wealth. I want to make you rich. The guy said he's not interested. He said that you have to. If you not come and worship, you will die. The young man left. Few weeks from there, the young man was rushed to the hospital. He started vomiting blood over, at a point, 5 hospitals rejected him because he was virtually dead. Then I didn't know about him. When they called me and told us this story, I smiled, went with one of my ministers. We prayed for him. He was already, spitting blood. And for over a month, he didn't even know where he was. He was already in coma. And his case was already concluded that he's dead. But today he's alive. I told him, no. If this is the God that we worship, that God that can heal, that can deliver, who is Ezenwanye and Okite? Not at all. If your faith is that you profess Christ to the last, God is yet for you. And he's alive today. So the Okite and Ezenwanye is just all about deceit and deceiving. How many of them that have been involved in such a thing are even wealthy? It's just a matter of get well today and die tomorrow. So they don't even enjoy it. And it's a serious drift, a destruction for our youth in the southeast.
Okay. All right. I may want to ask, because we know that your archdiocese, the Methodist Archdiocese of Enugu, Methodist Nigeria, is in the fight to combat the menace of Okite, the Ezenwanye, and all that. And I would want to ask the past and present efforts, and if it's yielding any result in seeing that this practice are relegated to the background.
Yes. The Methodist Church Nigeria, Archdiocese of Enugu, is really doing great through our Archbishop, His Grace, Most Reverend Barrister Chris Nweke Ede. He's really out for it. Now, how is he doing it? Remember I said earlier on, the church will talk about prosperity. And you don't tell the youth what to do to get this money. Part of what the Archbishop is doing is to train and retrain the youth. He has trained...
Sorry, to train and retrain the youth.
Yes.
Okay.
He is really doing it for the past 4 or 5 years now, training youths on different handworks, different things, anything you can do well, like hairdressing, whatever, computer and other things. And after doing these things, he will also raise money, raise the materials or the instruments, and empower the youths. So that you have something, they say, don't give me fish, but teach me how to fish. Okay. Most of these people that are doing these things or going into or being deceived are people who don't have anything doing. If you are gainfully employed, I bet you will be busy with what you're doing. I will not have time for Okite and Ezenwanye. Okay. So part of what the Archdiocese is doing through the Archbishop is training the youth and developing them, empowering them. Also, he has been on the forefront of making sure our youths, they get admission in universities. He will discuss with different universities and making sure that at any point in time that any of our youths sit for JAM or WAEC and you have a good score, he's always there to make sure that you get admission without being molested or whatsoever. Then he's also in the area of making sure our youths that have graduated from the universities, he gets job for them, contacts the government, making sure that in any form that he can get any of our youths well employed. So now, by the time the youth is involved in anything good, and the church has also helped, you see that it's hard for that young man or the girl to leave the church, to go for all these other okite or whatever. Because part of what the church should be doing is not just to build up the faith, put the faith, or teach the faith. They should also help to build the life, okay, which is what he's doing.
All right. And in your estimation, would you say that these interventions have worked practically in making the youths move away from these traditional practices and focus more on the church?
Yes, you know that an idle man is devil's workshop. When somebody doesn't have anything doing, and when we are talking about, I said unemployment, I said issue of peer group, I said issue of the poverty and the teaching. Part of what the Archbishop and the Methodist Church is doing is to teach. The teaching is part of the most important aspect of the church. Teaching in righteousness, teaching in the right direction, and also getting somebody to do something. And it has helped our youths. Today, come over to the church now. Today, both the diocese and the archdiocese opening schools, getting employed our youths, because when they are busy from 8 o'clock, maybe 7:30 till 4 o'clock, and in the evening by 5 o'clock, you are in the church. Tell me which time do you even have to take up irrelevant activities or immoral acts? You are gainfully employed. And you are being taught that your life, your body is of the Lord. So he's really doing great on that.
All right. On that note, we'll go on a short break. And when we return, we'll continue to x-ray these issues.
Hello, I'm Debra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV. Or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Hello, I'm Debra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV. Or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Reverend, now let's move over to the issue of the government, first of all.
Okay.
Coming down to the Southeast, do you think that the government's failure in any way has a role to play with our youth drifting towards the traditional worship, tilting towards Okite, the Ezenwoke Ezenwany issue?
The government, I mustn't fail to appreciate what the government and especially our governors are doing, quite good. But like I said earlier on, when the leader, the Bible says, when the righteous is in authority, the people rejoice. And the biggest challenge we are having is that most of our leaders in the political arena, many of them are within the Southeast, have a good name as Christians, but having the principles of Christian life is a big challenge. We are not, some of us are not representing Christ well. Either you are a local government chairman, or a community leader, or House of Rep, or governor, or Eze, or any other thing you are. You are, number one, God's representative. You are not representing yourself. You are representing God. And God expects each and every one of us to take it as a responsibility, because one day we will give account. Whatever we do, we will give account. Any position you find yourself, God puts you there so that you can be a light. Now, our inability to bring put smiles or bring light to the society is also helping the destruction of the society. Our inability to make people understand the love of God and people being satisfied. I read through the scriptures. The Bible noted about a man called Mordecai in the book of Esther chapter 10, verse 2. The Bible said concerning Mordecai, the people were so much excited, happy about him, because he touched their lives and he improved their lives, their well-being. It was not politically motivated. It was real impact. When Mordecai was on the throne, he was second in command. That means he was a politician. Let me use that word. And within the time he was there, the Bible noted the people, they were excited that someone like him was there, because he touched their lives and their well-being. Now, like I said, it is not politically motivated. The one who can come to the television or radio or whatever to shout about. Whereas the 3/4 or 90, 50, 70% or 90% of the people are dying in hunger. And somebody will continue to amass wealth. Somebody, like I preached somewhere some time ago, and a man called me and said, "Sir, this thing you're saying, our leaders, are they hearing it?" He talked about the local government chairman in that place, that almost every night, girls from Calabar or wherever will be brought. And for anyone that brings one girl, you are giving 2 million. Then how much are you paying the people that are working? So one of the areas is that because the government is also not doing well, unemployment, poverty, corruption is on the rise.
All right.
So that is a big problem.
Okay, let's turn the searchlight back to the church. Reverend, would you agree that with a lot of churches or ministries, now merchants of prosperity gospel, that is now propelling, or there's a link between this and the rise of our youth involvement in the so-called Yahoo Yahoo?
The problem is that to a greater extent, number one, the youths are dissatisfied with some lot of practices going on. Number two, the trend of the time is all about wealth. We are no longer talking about values of life. We are no longer talking about investment or what we can produce. The society is more of the eating society, the consumers, not the Europeans or all these nations like China and all the rest of them. They are producing community, society. They are having something they are producing. But ours is more of the consuming. We are just talking about what do we eat, what do we drink, how do we make life beautiful, not what do we produce, what do we bring to the table. So it's really affecting. When you're talking about the modern time Africa, the modern time Africa is also having a problem on the modern theology, the concept of God. Because maybe God is no longer killing people. God is a merciful God. You see people behaving the way the Bible says, a fool have said in his heart, there is no God. That's why even in the church, you see even some church leaders masterminding kidnapping. Kidnapping of the ministers, kidnapping of church leaders, embezzling church funds, and all the rest of them. You see pastors today being involved with rituals, being involved with, what do you call it, money making, whatever. So at the end of the day, the youth, okay, for instance, currently most of the times you continue to hear staged miracle. Some preachers will make miracles. And most of the times, they are using our youth. How would you explain to somebody whom, when you are having a crusade, and you pay the person 30,000 or 50,000, behave as if that you are blind, and the young man will come and behave as if he was blind. While you are preaching, at the point you say, receive, and the person, my eyes has opened, my eyes has opened. The person knew that he was not distant, and you have used him. Do you expect him to believe you? No. He sees you as an armed robber, as a colleague in evil-mindedness. So the same thing now, because they are also being dissatisfied with the ministers, or some of the ministers, or some of the teachings. You see them always wanting to make money. So some of these things, I said, the first challenge of the church is teaching about Christ.
Okay.
Bring people back to Christ.
All right. From your experience, I want to ask, how can we really solve this issue concerning our youth?
Go back to the Bible.
We should go back to the Bible.
Go back to the Bible.
All right.
Even Jesus, all that he did miracles. At a point, there was a time they said to him, people are looking for you. He said, don't mind them. They are coming because of the food. But the core aspect of his teaching is repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Okay.
Today, we are no longer preaching about repentance. Today, we are no longer talking about heaven. Today, everything you see most preachers talking about is key to success. 7 things you can do and become a happy man. No, those things are good. But the first is when Jesus in the family, happy home. That's the number one. We should bring Jesus back to our lives. When Jesus is in your life, you can't kidnap. You can't plan evil against somebody. You can't embezzle church fund. You can't be involved in corruption. You can't live a life of immorality. When Jesus is in your life, you become the light. When Jesus is in the family, I bet you everything will stand aright. Everything the society needs. I was somewhere, some people were talking about the political issues. And somebody said, this particular person, we can never vote him for president of anything. Why? Because if he comes in, he will want to, return everything back to the way it's supposed to be. Why? Because everybody wants dubious money. So the church have a work to do. Teach our youths. I happen to be a youth. And still a youth anyway. I'm just 51 today, this year. But many years back, because I gave my life to Christ, it helped me that both through my school days, my secondary school days, my university days, I schooled at Abia State University. By God's grace, even when I left, I finished top. Because of my attitude and result and every other thing, the school authority had to call me. Said, we want you, can you be a lecturer in the school, in the university? For some time, for about 4 or 5 years, I was a lecturer there. Why did I pick up that job? Because also, there were many students that are being victimized. I wanted to be a voice, and I helped many of them to graduate. There are some of them that have been there for the past more than 2 years when they're supposed to graduate, more than 3 years. I had to stand my ground to make sure that these people, they graduated. And I bet you, I may not know their names, But because of the way we handle some things, many of them today are good Christians. So, part of what the church should get was is the issue of standing out in their teachings.
All right. So, one thing we agree on is that the church is losing its influence on our youths, and they should try to reclaim that influence.
Yes, especially the traditional church or churches.
Okay.
You know that some of these new churches are coming up, which is quite good. They are quite good in everything. They are really doing lot. But the same way, the traditional church should upgrade a bit. Let our message, we may have, the message can be static, but the means can also be dynamic. We can also help to build these youths. Not just ask them to give offering, not just ask them to pay tithe. Develop them, empower them. Some of the new churches today are also helping to empower the youths. Many of the new churches. But what we need is teach them about the kingdom of heaven. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness. Train up a child in the way he should go. Okite and eze nwoke and eze nwanyị, you know, and all the rest of them are just because of our selfish ambitions. We want to get wealth today, maybe die tomorrow. But no society lasts with that. So part of what I think this insight is all about is to talk to the conscience, appeal to the conscience of our youth. It is good to make wealth. The church preaches about prosperity, making wealth. But first, one of the things that is important is know your God personally. Have a personal encounter with Jesus Christ.
All right. Reverend, in 30 seconds, one final advice to the youth and to the church.
Ecclesiastes, the wise man, said, one thing is needed in every youth, and say, young man, know your God. Have a good rapport with your maker, because one day we'll give account. The same way the church, we should not fail the mandate, the commission bestowed on us by God, because one day we'll give account. Where there is no responsibility, there is no accountability. But where there is responsibility, there's always accountability. We will give account one day, either as a church or as youths. But know ye that heaven is real, hell is real. God bless you.
All right. You've heard that. From accountability and responsibility as a youth and as a church, we'll be looking at the issue of youth drift and faith in Southeast Nigeria. And speaking with us on this very issue is Very Reverend Kinsley Ukocha, PhD. He's a Presbyter Gariki Circuit, Enugu, and Enugu Archdiocese Director of Evangelism, Methodist Church of Nigeria, Archdiocese of Enugu. Very Reverend Kinsley, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And to you, our viewers, remember that on the Insight, your views is very important to us. Remember to reach us with the hashtag, The Insight, all at Aneke TV, at our social media handles, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and our phone number as well. Till we come your way same time tomorrow, I remain your host, Uche Osai.
Hello, I'm Debra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chinwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Hello, I'm Debra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chinwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Beauty is not a mirror's gift. It lives deeper in how we listen, how we love, how we live. It's the kindness that lingers and the courage that doesn't quit. The world may sell perfection, but real beauty is flawed, fierce, and free. It's in stretch marks and smile lines, in stories and scars. When you see someone who glows, it's not their skin, it's their soul breaking through. That's beauty, raw, radiant, and real.
Enugu is one of the 36 states of Nigerian Federation. It is located on a hilltop in the southern part of the country. It has a rich history and robust cultural heritage that boasts its uniqueness. Igbo is
Good afternoon and welcome to the news across the country on Aneke TV. First, the headlines. Senate constitutes 12-member ad hoc committee on alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria. ADC cautions National Assembly against proposed early general election. INEC acting chairman outlines preparations for Anambra governorship election. Abia State sets up technology skills board. Customs intercept for 80.4 million naira worth of petrol. I'm Deborah Wakuba with the details of the news. The House of Representatives has intervened in the ongoing two-week warning strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, calling on the union and the federal government to return to the negotiating table immediately. The resolution followed a motion by Lagos lawmaker Mr. Oluwaseun Wingham, who warned that the strike could escalate into another prolonged shutdown, disrupting academic calendars and worsening student frustration. Lawmakers urged both parties to prioritize dialogue and national interest, stressing that repeated strikes have caused massive setbacks in research, youth productivity, and confidence in Nigeria's education system. An ad hoc committee chaired by Speaker Mr. Tajuddin Abbas has been set up to mediate between ASU and the government, with a directive for quick intervention and a report to the House within 1 week. Meanwhile, the Senate has constituted a 12-member ad hoc committee to advise on how to respond to growing international concerns over alleged state-backed persecution of Christians in Nigeria. The decision was taken during a closed-door session where lawmakers deliberated on recent claims by the United States government suggesting possible acts of genocide targeting Christians in parts of the country. The Senate's action follows mounting diplomatic scrutiny and the potential implications of such allegations for Nigeria's international reputation and interfaith relations. The committee has been tasked with developing a comprehensive position paper for presentation to both the executive and the Senate. In response to National Assembly's move for early elections, the African Democratic Congress ADC has cautioned the National Assembly against its proposal to move the 2027 general elections to November 2026, warning that the plan could disrupt governance and stall development. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Bolaji Abdullahi, said the move would shorten the period for effective governance and plunge Nigeria into a state of permanent electoral reign, where politics overshadows progress. The National Assembly is considering amending the Electoral Act to allow more time for resolving post-election disputes before the May 29, 2027 handover. But the ADC said the real solution lies in strengthening institutions, enforcing tribunal timelines, and improving INEC and judicial efficiency, not changing the election calendar. The party urged lawmakers to drop the amendment and focus on reforms that guarantee credible polls, swift justice, and political stability. As the general elections approach, Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State and 3 House of Representative members from Kaduna State have defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, dealing a fresh blow to the opposition party. Speaking after his defection, Governor Mbah said his move was to advance the collective interest of the people and the Southeast, adding that President Bola Tinubu's leadership inspired his decision. He described the switch as a strategic partnership for transformative development, not betrayal. The Kaduna defector cited internal crisis within the PDP and the need to align with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. The decision was taken during a meeting of the forum held at the PDP FCT Secretariat in Abuja under the chairmanship of Sir Edward Percy Marshall, acting secretary of the forum. In a communique issued after the meeting and signed by the newly appointed chairman, Dr. Tony Aziebemi of Edo State, and Secretary Sir Edward Percy Marshall, the forum accused Honorable Austin Nwachukwu Imo and Honorable Ama Abraham Nana Abia of colluding with an external interest linked to the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, to derail preparation for the PDP's National Convention scheduled for November 15 to 16, 2025. According to the statement, the two chairmen had recently sought a court injunction to halt the convention, a move the forum described as a betrayal of the party's unity and collective resolve. Their suspension, it said, followed an unanimous decision by members present. This news broadcast is coming to you live from Aneke TV. Remember, you can follow us on all social media feeds on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok. Here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Now a quick reminder of major developments in the news. Senate constitutes 12-member ad hoc committee on alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria. ADC cautions National Assembly against proposed early general election. And coming up shortly, INEC acting chairman outlines preparations for Anambra governorship election. Abia State sets up technology skills board. Custom intercept 80.4 million naira worth of petrol. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Debra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Welcome back. The acting chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Ms. May Agabuche Mbo, says the commission is fully prepared for the November 8, 2025 Anambra governorship election. Speaking at a quarterly meeting with political party leaders in Abuja, Ms. Agabamuche Mbo said that the INEC had completed 10 out of 13 key pre-election activities, including the delivery of all non-sensitive materials and the commencement of voter education. She urged parties to adhere strictly to the campaign deadline of November 6th. She also announced that the continuous voter registration will continue nationwide until August 30, 2026, and that only 14 out of 171 groups seeking party registration met the Commission's requirements. Responding, the Inter-Party Advisory Council Chairman, Dr. Yusuf Dantale, commended Ms. Agabamuche Mbo's leadership, but described the Anambra election as litmus test for INEC's credibility, urging the new leadership to restore public trust in the electoral process. And in Abia State, Governor Alex Oti of Abia State has inaugurated the board of Abia State Technological Skills Acquisition Center with Professor Ndubisi Ekwekwe as the chairman. Inaugurating the board in the Executive Council chamber at the end of the weekly State Executive Council meeting, Dr. Oti thanked all the members of the board for accepting to serve the state. He described them as experts and the best hands in the technology space. The governor said that the service they are called into is a service to the fatherland. While the ASU strike is ongoing, the Nigerian Association of Medical and Dental Academics, NAMDA, has dismissed rumors that its members are on strike, reaffirming its status as an independent union capable of negotiating its own affairs. In a statement signed by its president, Dr. Nosa Lanti Ohio, and other executives, NAMDA said it would not be blackmailed or lured away from protecting the interests of medical lecturers in universities and teaching hospitals. The union clarified that it continues to engage the federal government on key issues, including the implementation of the Consolidated Medical Workers Salary Structure, CONMES, and the withdrawal of the compulsory PhD requirements for medical lecturers with postgraduate fellowships. NAMDA also called for the inclusion of its members in the End Academic Allowances EAA scheme and urged the government to fast-track long-standing policy approvals, warning that any industrial action in the future would be constitutionally guided and have far-reaching effects on both education and healthcare. Meanwhile, stakeholders in the Ezudo-Ezinhite community of Mbise local government area, Imo State, have called for renewed efforts to preserve the Igbo cultural heritage. The President General of the community, Mr. Bartholomew Nwokocha, said cultural values shape the people's identity and guide their way of life. He warned that abandoning traditions could lead to a loss of purpose and unity. Now moving over to business. The federal government has reached an agreement with Nigeria's power generation companies to implement the 4 trillion naira presidential power sector debt reduction plan approved by President Bola Tinubu to stabilize the electricity market and boost investor confidence. The deal, finalized after a high-level meeting in Abuja, outlines modalities for settling outstanding debts, including bilateral negotiations for full and final settlement agreements. The plan authorizes up to 4 trillion naira in government-backed bonds to clear verified arrears owed to gencos and gas suppliers, the largest intervention in over a decade. And still on business, petrol prices have climbed close to 1,000 naira per litre across major Nigerian cities amid supply shortages and production setbacks at the Dangote refinery. The Independent Petroleum Markets Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, and depot owners are blaming each other for the sharp increase that has triggered fresh queues and panic buying nationwide. IPMAN spokesperson, Comrade Chinedu Ukadike, confirmed that members of the Depots and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAP-MAN, are finalizing plans to import petrol independently to stabilize the market. Also, the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, has intercepted 1,980 jerrycans of premium motor spirit, PMS, popularly known as petrol, valued at 80.4 million naira, allegedly being smuggled into the Republic of Benin. The seizure was made by Operation Whirlwind, a special task force of the NCS within various flashpoints in Lagos and Ogun states. Speaking during a news conference in Ikeja, Lagos, the National Coordinator of Operation Whirlwind, Mr. Kolo Oladeji, said the operation was part of intensified efforts to curb the illegal export of petroleum products and other acts of economic sabotage. He added that 7 vehicles used in conveying the products were also impounded. Now moving over to sports. President Bola Tinubu has applauded the Super Eagles for their 4-0 win over the Benin Republic, urging them to seal qualifications for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. In a statement, President Tinubu commended the team's passion and determination, noting that their dominant display on Uyo rekindled national pride. Victor Osimhen's hat-trick and Frank Onyeka's late strike secured Nigerians' place in the African playoffs, where they will battle for one of the remaining World Cup slots. The victory also marked Nigerians' biggest win since 2023 and ensured they finished among the top 4 second-place teams with 15 points. Still on sports, Victor Osimhen's stunning hat-trick powered Nigeria's Super Eagles to a 4-0 demolition of Benin Republic in New York, sealing their place in the African playoffs for the 2026 World Cup. The Napoli striker opened scoring in the 3rd minute, added a powerful header before halftime, and completed his treble early. In the second half, substitute Frank Onyeka netted the 4th in stoppage time to cap a dominant display. Nigeria controlled the game from start to finish, with Samuel Chukwueze and Moses Simon providing key assists, while goalkeeper Stanley Wabali enjoyed a quiet evening. The emphatic win lifts Nigeria into the playoff round with 15 points and restores confidence in a team that had faced criticism for inconsistency. Osimhen's goal takes his national tally to 29, just 8 shy of Rashidi Yekin's all-time record. Now to the world of entertainment. After electrifying audience across North America, the internationally acclaimed artist behind the M5 tour is bringing the show back to Nigeria. The homecoming tour promised to celebrate Nigerian culture, creativity, and music on a personal level. Described as a tribute to the culture and the people who shaped the journey, the Nigerian leg of the M5 tour is set to be an unforgettable celebration of talent, heritage, and homegrown pride. To end the news across the country, here are the main points. The House of Representatives has intervened in ASU's ongoing 2-week warning strike, urging immediate dialogue with the federal government to prevent a prolonged shutdown. The Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) has intercepted 1,980 jerry cans of premium motor spirit (PMS), popularly known as petrol, valued at 80.4 million naira, allegedly being smuggled into the Republic of Benin. We also told you that petrol prices have soared to nearly 1,000 naira per litre across major cities amid supply disruptions linked to the Dangote refinery. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria said private importation plans may soon stabilize the market. That ends the news. For breaking news, eyewitness reports, please call 070-3043-7110 or visit our social media handles across Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube, all at Aneke TV. I'm Deborah Wakoba. Thank you for watching. Hello, I'm Deborah Wakoba.
I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV.